So, in society, they tell you that as a man, you're supposed to protect and provide for a female. Even when you're young, they tell you, you're supposed to get a job when you're young. Most little girls don't hear that. So, you grow up and you're told how to talk to women like a damn tutorial. But no one ever teach their daughters, especially in America, ever teach their daughters how to treat a man. No one ever tells their daughters to walk up to men more, have a personality, don't treat men bad, don't stand in men's faces, don't try to beat up men, don't try to compete with men. The whole relationship interaction with women and the whole workload is all on men. The dark side of relationships is that men get nothing out of it after it's done. Overall, men lose something after they're done with a female. See, when you're in a relationship, this female can invade your space immediately. She can call you every single day, text you every single day. Doesn't matter what you're doing. She has to call you because guess what? She's a woman and she has to have attention 24/7. So even if you have all these things that you've been doing and you have this schedule, or I'm looking for the word rituals that you used to doing, and all the stuff that you used to doing, and you're organized in what you do. All of it's scrapped. You have to pay attention to her now. You have to call her after your work instead of winding down. You have to have her and talk to her even if you don't want to talk. You have to cater to her before you even get catered to yourself. And it's all about her. It's not about you. In a relationship, what men do that is over the workload. See, in the beginning, when you're talking to a female, you have to talk to her. You have to convince her. If you don't fit a narrative out here, if you're not tall, you got to convince her. You have to use this game and this mouthpiece. So that might be hours and days or even weeks or even months before you get what you want, which is the sexual part of your relationship. But you have to listen to her for hours, weeks, days. Her consistently in your face, consistently talking to you, because you have to give her attention all the time. That's the first thing you have to do. You have to walk up to a female, try to talk to her, mouthpiece. Second, you spend a lot of money. You have to put a lot of effort into this. Even if she has about 40 or 50 different types of dudes that she had sex with, and she had at least 10 or 15 guys or 20 guys who she wasn't in a relationship with, but they were sex buddies or Netflix and chill buddies, or even a guy who she was sexually attracted to, but they didn't do any much talking. They just had sex all the time. But you have to jump through the hoop because you don't fit a narrative. But women who don't fit men narratives, they don't have to go through that. How many fat women you know have to jump through hoops to talk to a guy? No. Even if you're a fat woman, you still got to walk up to her and do the same thing. Even a handicapped woman, you have to do the same thing. Cater to her. That's 2 right there. Big workloads. Third, you have to put more effort into her than she does you. This is before you get into a relationship. So let's rewind. You have to go up to her, put yourself out there while she sits there and don't put any effort in it. 2, you have to put a lot of effort in it. When you do have her and pique her interest. Now the third thing, you will have to put so much into this female that you're gonna lose everything that you are. Here's an example. I know a guy who used to watch pro wrestling. He used to have games. He used to be into games. But he was always on point. He was so sharp. He remembered every single thing that he needed to remember. But he was with this female. She didn't like the fact that he played a lot of games. So what'd he do? He sold his games. He always listened to her every day. So each little day by day, she would take everything that he enjoys and make her his enjoyment. Listen to me. If you have hobbies and you have something that you enjoy, 9 times out of 10, if you're with a female, she's gonna squash your dreams, squash your enjoyment, and turn everything that you enjoyed and everything, all your hobbies, into what she is. You now are going to have her as your hobby. You now are going to have her as your enjoyment. She thinks you're better than she is. She will make sure that her presence alone is worth everything. She will be so arrogant to think that her presence will not give you stress. Her presence will make everything better for you. Her talking will not ignore you. Her spending habits, every flaw she has, is nothing, because guess what? She's a woman. And everything she don't have to do any wrong. She doesn't do nothing wrong. So now you have an entitled person who has an ego the size of a 18-wheeler. And every single time you have to give her attention. You're no longer the man you used to be. She isolated you from all your friends and family. And now she gets to do whatever she wants. So say you get sick. Or you stop catering to her for a small bit. She find a new man. It's that easy for her. Even if she's fat and unattractive, she will find a new man to talk to. She might not cheat on you physically, but she's going to cheat on you mentally. These are all the dark sides of being in a relationship. Because there's a lot of guys out here who hate the big towel and big red pill stuff, and they all still want to get married. Because they want to put themselves through that, because in their head, they're thinking that their whole existence in life is to cater to a woman and to have kids and pass on their seed. They don't think that a man's creation could be his legacy, and he doesn't have to have a kid, like a Lutessa or anybody in the world who never had kids, and they're still being talked about to this day. That is their legacy. They have a lore behind them. They didn't need kids. They didn't need a wife to make them be a man. But hey, these guys out here still in a relationship because in their head they were programmed to think that suppression and servitude is what a man's job is. And being a bullet sponge for a female is all a man's supposed to do. So you have a lot of lot of guys out here who Miserable. Yeah, they get the occasional, they get to brag about they have a girlfriend, or they get to walk around and say, well, I'm not a virgin, or I get to have sex because I have a wife, and blah, blah, blah. And they get to brag about that. But then that's a small high they get from saying these things to other men. They see other men. These men can move from location to location. These men can buy anything they want. These men can listen to what they can listen to. These men have a pattern of what they can do. They can't do that because they have a girl next to them who don't want them to listen to certain things, who don't want them to have this. They're dragged in the mall to buy presents for their girlfriend. Every single holiday comes up, they have to buy presents for their girlfriend. Valentine's Day, they gotta buy her a present again. They gotta cater to this girl. They gotta listen to her. They can never have a break from her. So of course they want to shame men who's single, and they don't want nothing to do with it. The dark side of relationships, the core of it, is a man who don't have any freedom anymore. He's locked down. And he has a one-way mindset. The dark side of a relationship can lead to many different things. From depression, suicide, even high-intense stress. Ask yourself back in the day, how many of your family members, males, who were married to women, died before the woman did? Usually the man always died before the woman, because guess what? The woman never acknowledged that the fact that she's annoying and she's stressful to the man. Women would never acknowledge the fact that they are stressful. They would never acknowledge that they are annoying people. And that's the reason why nobody want to be around them. No one never tells women the truth. And that's the true dark side of relationships. That a woman can bring her baggage. She could bring all her flaws. She could bring everything she wants to in a relationship to a man, and the man has to deal with it no matter what. She can destroy this man. She can take his money. She can cost him his job. And society won't even call her out on it. Men can be in a relationship or a marriage for 40-something years, and then she can just walk off. Also, relationships are not platonic no more. They're a business arrangement. Think about it. If you with a girl for 2 years, right? And you don't want her no more, the first thing she'll say to you is, I wasted all my time with you for 2 years. 2 years. 2 years. She won't ever say what you did for her. It's all about her. She won't tell your side. She won't think that you are depressed and you are annoyed with her and you're fed up. She will make it about her. Try it. Fake breakup with your girl friend or your wife and said, I don't want to do this. And I bet you she will bring up the fact that she did a lot for you. But she won't never remember what you did for her. And how it was neutral. So even in the beginning of the relationship, she already tallying up everything that she's doing for you, but not what you're doing for her. So everything you're spending is null and void. Because as long as she giving you something, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if you give her hours and hours and hours of attention. It just matters if she gives you a small bit of attention. Because she's a blow it up. I'm telling you right now, man. I'm sick and tired of seeing articles and articles and stories of men going off the deep end on women. I'm sick of that crap. It shouldn't go to that level, but in a way I understand where some of these men are coming from. Because women in their nature are selfish. And relationships are dangerous. They're very dangerous to a man. Because men are held at a higher level than women would ever be. Women would never admit their mistakes. They would never admit that they didn't put as much into a relationship as the man put into them. So I'm trying to look out for a lot of people. Whoever's want to listen, just remember, man, relationships have the dark side. Meaning that it doesn't even compare to what you can. The light side of relationship doesn't compare to the darker side. The darker side can destroy you as a man and leave her unscratched. Because she can go out of a relationship and she can claim victim. Just like the R. Kelly situation. She can say that you did this and did that. Because everyone believe her. But no one will believe what she did to you. So you're going to come out of there. You're going to come out of a relationship that wastes your time and your money. And all she has to do is tell lies. And then after she does you dirty or cheats on you, she's going to come right back and say, hey, remember me? What's going on? Like it never happened. Look at some of these women online after they break up with a guy and see they just don't have any empathy for men. They use men as a bodyguard, a banker, and a therapist. Look at the situation with DJ Academics and this girl Angela. She went on live multiple times and just laughed about the whole situation when she tried to end this guy's life. She slept with another man in his house that he bought her, in his apartment that he bought her. And when Academics did the same thing she did, but not in a so-called in a manner that she did, she didn't like it and she went after him. And then everybody seemed to jump on her side. She walked out of the situation unscathed. She should be in jail right now for attempted murder. But instead, she's out here making lives, laughing about the whole situation, ruining this man's property that he worked for. She's out here talking about how she is this and this and that. But Academics is known. And he put that work in online. And she just was an Instagram model. That's not a lot of work you got to do. Ass shots and makeup ain't a lot of work. But putting that work into being noticed and getting up all the time, doing all that crazy, being on a schedule like he has to, going at events, doing little commercials. That's a lot of work to do for the little change that he get. That she's like, that's the stuff that I'm talking about. Dark side of a relationship right there, man. But yeah, I'm gonna end it right now because I'm probably gonna go on a rant.